Yo, this is your boy Dan Tactics. We are back today. We're talking about order blocks, order cocks, whatever you guys want to call them. We're talking about how to spot them in the market, how I use them at least, and There's a lot of different ways I've seen people use order blocks of like the whole move down or like that last leg up, but I'll specifically show my strategy on them. First things first. I do want to talk a little bit before we just get right into this video. If you guys are new to the channel, hit that subscribe button. If you guys aren't, cool. Welcome back. Other than that, though, let's get right into it. So, with order blocks, a lot of the time, the way I use them is I wait for a liquidity sweep first, and then I wait for I wait for that price to get swept, and then that last leg up, or like that last final move up instead of that last leg up. And I'll show you the example of it right now. And then we're on IWM right now, or also whatever you guys call it. What the hell? There's just a massive gap. This is from the election. Okay. Regardless, let's just take a look at some points that we could have used and where you could have located an order block and a potential entry. And there is a lot of liquidity sweeps where essentially an order block, I mean, there is one created, but it's not essentially what you want to take. So we have this high right here. Technically, I should just put it at this. Actually, this is actually a great example. We did not sweep any liquidity, I guess, at this point right here, but since we're at an all-time high, this is on the 15-minute time frame. So this would be a 15-minute order block. It would be this last leg up. We see that price came out of it. When price re-entered, this is what I used to do when I was like an absolute noob, or like I still am, but like even like 2 months ago, this is literally like my first ever trading strategy I had. I would wait for the last leg up. I would wait for price to break structure out of it, and then I would wait for price to retrace back into it. And this is actually great because you could literally have used like 3 different entry points right here. You got this 15-minute fair value gap. And then you also have equilibrium. So we're literally combining all the strategies right here. You're already in a discount. You're entering an order block, and you're filling a fair value gap. And if you enter to the upside, you're a idiot. The only thing is you would be trading against a trend here, taking a short. So I would have never really took this. But anyways, today's about order blocks. We had price come out of it. We had price come into the order block. And then we ended up projecting down on the downside. Obviously, this was all pre-market, so you don't really want to trade this. I want to like find an actual like real live example of this. I'm gonna go a little bit back over here. All right, delete all these zones. Back before the election, market was kind of. I want to make sure I could like show you guys. Oh, all right. This is honestly a pretty good example. Okay. So we had. This is when we came into an order block. So we had this point from the day before. All right, let's take a look. So we swept this pre-market liquidity. We swept it right away. So goddamn, what the. All right, we swept it right here. Actually, came up into it. If you scale down into a smaller time frame, but I want to show you guys. We ended up sweeping it. What was that last and final leg up? If you're trading, if it's Tuesday and you're looking on Monday, we had this last leg up. What was really that last leg up? I'm gonna want to scale down. Let's check the date, the 11th. Let's scale into the 5-minute here. All right. So you see, we had this leg up. We actually ended up coming up, sweeping this. And then let's take a look. On the 5-minute, what was literally that final move up before we swept? It was literally that. Price ended up coming out of it. We broke structure on the 5-minute after this was closed. You could have entered to the downside here, set your stops above your highs. You would have hit, set your take profit, would have been first zone. Check it out. Literally ended up projecting right off of that. Anyways, price ended up coming down. When did it retrace into that order block? And also, if you pay attention here, there's also a this is like there's a final fair value gap. So this would literally been a really good trade. Price ended up coming into this order block, instantly went back down to the downside. This played out over, if you were targeting this zone, this fair value gap, it would have played out over 5, 10, 15. been like a 30-minute trade. Could have made some good money off that. That's how I use order blocks. The only thing about order blocks is a lot of people use them in different manners. And that is on the way up. Order blocks can also be used on the way down. And I want to show you an example that's literally screaming at me from this screen right here. So pay attention here. This actually would have ended up playing out a little bit better. We have this. See, the only thing is I don't like that there's this gap here because price a lot of the times targets this gap. But what you could have done is if you were trading this day, you could have waited for price to come down, make a move down, and then you could rather stay in this zone. You could stay in that last candle. See, this would have worked out. You would have, or if you were trading that last final move, see, this was a really big move. So you would have had a very wide entry point, and I mean, that wouldn't have been as great. So this trade really would have been better because you're looking at this, and then you also have this fair value gap. Price ended up coming into this order block, instant rejection back up to the upside. So that's another way you could use them. A lot of people, like I said, let's see. Let's just see if we could like spot stuff before it actually happens. So we have this last and final leg right here. This is all in the 5-minute too. It doesn't really matter what time frame you stay on. We have this last leg right here. Let's see if price no, I don't think price ever ended up coming back into that as of right now. Eventually it will, but not right now. Let's scale back up to an hourly time frame. What the? All right, prices come back. Scale back into an hourly time frame. Let's just go back a little bit in time, and I just want to. Oh, this is holy. I used to trade IWM, so. Okay. Let's see. Let's see some order block that could be a really good example. I like this. All right, let's just remove a couple things because this is just gonna confuse the out of everybody, bro. See, I even see order blocks when I was literally writing them out. Oh, this is an actual trade. Bye bye. It's marked on my chart if I took it. We have previous day high right here. We had price come up, sweep liquidity. We swept it pre-market. We ended up after market open. We were all the way down here. Market open. Price ended up coming up, sweeping this. I would have scaled down here. Obviously, this is an hourly move. So on this hourly, obviously like hourly stuff gets respected. This is the hourly gap. So price would have ended up coming out. This would have been a trade for the next day. You would have entered right here. Boom, orders are being filled. Orders are getting filled. You could have literally hit this trade. Let's take a look. Based off just it re-entering the order block and filling this fair value gap. That actually kind of would have been nice. Set your stops. See, there's another bearish fair value gap. I would have set my stops probably right above that. Not above the highs just because it's not too great of a trade. And then I honestly would have been targeting just something like maybe like these lows right down here. And obviously this would have actually ended up playing out. It would have been a swing trade, obviously. But you understand, it's not about how long it takes to play out. I'm just showing you boys that it works. Like, obviously it's on an hourly. I'm just showing how it reacts. I don't hold my trades for that long personally. And then let's show an example of like an order block like this, where people who take it off that last leg. See, now this being on that last leg, the whole move up is this. That is a very large order. Like, you're not gonna take that. So, see, price came out of this. It might have retraced back into it on a smaller time frame. Anyways, when market open, it wasn't the case like that. So that didn't end up working out. Scale over here. All right, this is actually an example I like quite a bit. You just got to scale down for a lot of these, and I can't really do that based off my thing. This is a nice order block. This is a very nice example right here that I'm about to show. So we had previous day liquidity here. It was already swept before market opened, so I would have been targeting the next days, which would have been here. It was also swept. So then you would have been looking at that next high. So that next high. As you pay attention on this next high, what can you boys infer? We had this final leg up before that move. Price ended up coming into this order block. You wouldn't have entered off that. Honestly, me personally, I wouldn't have entered off this because we never swept the high. But that's an extra point where, like, hey, price came into this point. I understand that the last time price was here, this was the final leg up of a sweep. Obviously, price, if you were to scale down, if price would have broke structure out of that, you would have been looking for shorts already at this point, or you would have already been pretty bearish to the downside just based off being in that orderly block. And that's the way you guys have to trade. I feel like if you actually like take a look at higher time frames, scale down, see what's going on in a higher time frame, and once price gets to a certain point, scale into that, and then be looking for entries to the down. Like, bro, oh my goodness, dude, order blocks are really nice. I've used them a lot. Okay, this is Trendline Dan, I guess. I can show you an example where it didn't work. Obviously, trading's not perfect. We had liquidity get swept right here. This final leg up was technically this whole thing. Actually, check this out. Look, price came out, went all the way down here, came back in. Actually, that would have played out. I was just looking more into the future. Obviously, you guys don't see that when it happens. That actually would have ended up playing out completely wrong. Order blocks, order cocks. Order cocks are great. Let's look for more bearish or like downside. So here we go. We have price sweep this low. We had this final leg up. Price came out, came back in. You would have entered. God damn, I was fucking just right here. Set the stops right below these lows. Your take profit. See, the only thing is we had this like imbalance right here, so you've been targeting possibly the second imbalance. Decent trade right there. Obviously, that all played out post market and pre market, but you would have actually been able to enter the trade while market's open. Here's one that didn't play out actually. Now I know this one did not play out for sure. We had price come in. But look at this final leg up. Look at this leg up. Terrible. I wouldn't even have looked at that as an order block. Obviously, if you scale down, see we did have some type of rejection after a sweep. So there could have been some type of play out, but obviously we didn't really follow it. We had this massive imbalance that price was coming into. You would have known that this imbalance would have existed when you were trading. If you actually pay attention to what happened here, imbalance was filled, price continued to go higher. But we're gonna stick to making this video about order blocks. I think I already showed this. Let's keep going. This is a very nice. We had this previous day. We had this move down. Look, price stayed, blah blah blah, came up out of it. We never actually had that initial entry when price first came out of it. The next day we didn't even get the entry. We got the entry literally the day after that, or 2 days later. We got the entry right here. Price ended up coming into this order block, and check out what ended up happening. Price rallied. I would have probably targeted an area like this that stops like right below the 50% point. But that is a way that you guys could trade order blocks. I hope I did educate you guys a little bit about order blocks. I do actually have in my notebook a whole page about order blocks that I want to read to you as well. So an order block is essentially the move up or the move down that causes the liquidity sweep. It's that final move, like I've been saying. You could use that last little candle, depending if you're on an hourly or if you're on a higher time frame, or if you want to scale. Let's see what else. Dan wrote this. Why is this beneficial to me? It's just beneficial knowing the terminology so you know which orders swept liquidity. Well, yeah, no shit. Order blocks are a simple entry goal. Like I said, you could use them as your entry point. Recently, I'm not gonna lie, in like the last couple weeks, bro, I have not been using order blocks as much as I used when I first started. But order blocks really helped me understand a lot of other concepts. Like when I started trading with order blocks, I started seeing that wow, this order block overlaps a fair value gap as it's filling. Let's even take a look at some possible move that you could have used today as an order block. We had this leg up from the day before, right? This was like a pretty big move up from the day before. We had price come into it pre-market. We could have expected price to be bearish today. What ended up happening? Let's scale down into it. Price ended up, check this out. Price ended up coming into it. I ended up getting that move. It really helped me out when I was a beginner, and it taught me a lot of other concepts. So, if you're pretty new to trading, I would suggest learning liquidity and then order blocks first before. Liquidity, technically, you could use liquidity, break a structure, and order block, and I feel like you could be profitable. But I feel like you do I like understanding like price discounts or like equilibrium or like understanding imbalances like fair value gaps and whatnot, liquidity voids. So all that stuff essentially is the exact same thing, but you just gotta understand it, and it all takes time. It's time within the markets, bro. You can't expect to get this all down in one day. You gotta learn from your mistakes. I've made a lot of mistakes. I still make a lot of mistakes. Even profitable traders that I know in real life, they still make a lot of mistakes, and you always got room to learn. The one thing that you gotta understand about trading is you're not gonna just be able to. I feel like get everything down as fast as you think that you're gonna be able to. It's gonna take time. It's time in the markets. You just gotta understand that. Um, if you don't want to put in the work, I wouldn't even suggest getting into it. Or if you don't have the time to do it, or you're not gonna dedicate. A lot of people, anybody in the world has time for it. People, I've asked friends that say they don't have time for things. They have plenty of time for shit. They're just lazy, bro. They get home from work and then they do absolutely nothing, bro. So when you're doing stuff like that, that's just, you can't expect anything to happen. You actually have to put time in the markets. If you don't put any, do you think that you're going to be able to get great results if you're putting in minimal work? No, absolutely not. You're going to have to put in that hard work to actually get the results that you want to see. um, and it takes a lot of dedication. You have to fully dedicate yourself to trading. It's a long process. I'm gonna put myself through it because this is what I want to do. Trading is one of the greatest skills you can learn, because once you learn the skill of trading, you have the power to clock in from everywhere in the world and be able to make money. You don't have to listen to a certain boss, like stuff like that. I bet a lot of people that are watching this video right now don't like getting told what to do. Personally, I don't. That's one of the big reasons why I got into this. When I did work, I worked hard. I did my job, but now it's a different point in working for yourself. So if you're working for yourself, if you're doing all this and you're not really dedicated, where are you gonna get? Nowhere. So keep that in mind. If you're new to trading, I don't know why I went on this little Kabil speech, but hope you guys all enjoy the rest of your day. If you guys aren't new to the channel, hit that subscribe button. I'll be taking you guys through the journey. Peace out.